Hello, Ace Nation. I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Destined for Greatness 2018 was a great show from the VFW Hall in Pagoda, New Jersey. We start the night with tag team action as we see the Punk Relics, Jaden Valo and Ugo, as they defeat the GOAT, greatest of all time, the Superstar Whiplash, and the Absolute Chris Cage, who were accompanied to the ring by Ivy Roman, or was it Roman? Next up in singles competition, we saw Mouse defeat Tommy Vex. I do apologize if I got his name wrong. Up next, Cheyenne Ortiz comes into the ring, and he mentions to the crowd that Battle Bowl is coming on Saturday night, April 14th, and they would have 4 established teams and 4 created tag teams in which the winning team at the end of the team will be crowned the new Ace Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. So Cheyenne has 2 envelopes in his hands. He opens one envelope and he announces the first name is the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele. Right on cue, Steele comes out and he talks about he was scheduled to have a match with Danny Pagan, but he said that Pagan was in an accident the day before the show, and Cheyenne was trying to tell Steele about Battle Bowl, and Steele says, I don't care about Battle Bowl, I don't care about April. But then Cheyenne announces Steele's partner for Battle Bowl will be Mouse. And Steele then said he pretty much issued an open challenge to anyone, and out came Romeo Castillo. And the match was on, and Romeo Castillo pinned Vince Steele after Steele missed that hangover leg drop from the top rope. Up next, it was Nobody's Better or the Best Around, Michael Mistretta, as he went one-on-one with Anthony Silva. During the match, out comes Adira, and she inserts herself into the match, and as a result, it was now a match for the Fight for Flight Championship, which saw Adira defeat Mike Mistretta and Anthony Silva to become the new Fight for Flight champion, and as a result, Adira is now the first woman to hold the Fight for Flight championship. At that point, Cheyenne comes into the ring, congratulates Adira on the title win, and then he announces to the crowd the next two names for Battle Bowl on April 14th, and he announces that the second team is Romeo Castillo, and returning to Ace Pro Wrestling, independent wrestling veteran Crowbar. It was then announced they had gone to intermission at that point. Next up, we saw, after intermission had ended, we saw Puerto Rican powerhouse Astro Morales go one-on-one with the future Lance Anoa'i, who is a third-generation wrestler, member of the great Samoan wrestling dynasty. Early on in the match, Morales and Anoa'i were pulling each other's hair, and then they started grabbing a hold of Ref Flacco's hair. Flacco, I mentioned you. And eventually Lance Anoa'i picked up the win over Astro Morales. As Astro was still on the mat, William Wyeth, who has not wrestled in Ace since about 2016, he attacks Astro, and Wyeth takes the microphone and he says, this is the problem with this company. He said this current generation's handed all these opportunities and they blow them. And he also mentioned that he bled for the company for so many years, and I forgot what else he went on to say. Wyeth then went over the guardrail before he went out the door. Okay. Up next, we saw singles action as we saw Adam Payne defeat Alvin Alvarez to retain the Diamond Division Championship. After the match ended, Cheyenne comes into the ring and he announces the third team, the next two for Battle Bowl on April 14th, and he announces one half of the tag team will be the Puerto Rican powerhouse, Astro Morales. And his partner, they said, will be announced this Wednesday night on American Championship Entertainment's Facebook page. This Wednesday night, which is March 21st. That his partner is to be announced then. Okay, next we had tag team action as we saw the Golden Shower, Prince Akhenaten and Ultimo Maya, as they defeated the Duke Boys, Aiden, I don't know, Ricky and Aiden or Ricky and Bale. Golden Shower had some kind of bottled drink and they threw it into, I forgot who Ricky or Bale, one of them took it right in the eyes, whatever that drink was, or whatever it was supposed to be. Then it was main event time as the Devil's Outlaw Stockade challenged the Brooklyn Outlaw Mike Donovan for the Ace Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. It started out with basic wrestling at first. They went out to the floor. Stockade threw Donovan into the guardrail. Then they went over the crowd. Stockade picked up the guardrail, but out comes Ace owner Mike Morgan saying, no, this is not what Donovan did not agree to a hardcore match. So Morgan goes back to the curtain. Stockade puts the rail down. And they eventually get back to the ring. Stockade goes for the 12-gauge DDT, but Donovan pushes Stockade, which squashes referee Shady Torres in the corner. Stockade eventually, I think he did hit the 12-gauge DDT on Donovan. Bo Pritchard, who was commentating the show with Cheyenne, he hits the ring and he makes a 3 count. Stockade thinks he's become champion for the 3rd time. Stockade gets up and he sees Bo and he sees Shady still down. And Stockade says, hey, what are you doing? And Bo is like, hell, we won. But he says, wait, the referee's still down. And also, at that point, King Mega comes through the curtain and he's staring down Stockade. At that point, Donovan gets up, takes the championship belt, blasts Stockade in the face with it. I forgot to mention, I think Stockade pushed Bo out of the ring before that happened. Donovan hits Stockade with the championship belt. Referee Shady gets up, makes the 3 count, enabling Donovan to retain the championship. Donovan then goes through the curtain. He walks right by King Mega. And Stockade is arguing with Bo, and he says, I could have been champion again, and Stockade's telling him, hey, we're not best friends, and all this bickering going on. And then Cheyenne Ortiz comes into the ring and says, gentlemen, I already have taken a look at the last 2 names for the 4th and final team for Battle Bowl on April 14th. And Cheyenne announced that the 4th and final team is the Devil's Outlaw Stockade and Bo Pritchard. And at that point, Bo jumped for joy to the point where he took his pants off. So, yeah. And that's pretty much how the night ended. Well, it was personal notes time. It was nice meeting Yasmin. Nice meeting Anthony Bello. Great to see Cheyenne, John Harder, Chris Shady Torres, Ryan Peterson. Can't remember if I mentioned John Harder or not. Despite the fact it was St. Patrick's Day, despite Pro Wrestling Magic running in Ridgefield Park, I mean, that explains really the small crowd. I mean, still great, some things went down in this very event, and, for those of you who have yet to come to see Ace Pro Wrestling Live, you don't know what you're missing. Hopefully April 14th Battle Bowl will have more of a crowd. But back to Destined for Greatness, we had some memorable quotes. I'm also going to take a bite out of your mommy. Mouse to Tommy Vex. I do apologize again if I got his name wrong. Sweet Jesus Christ, help me, Robert. Astro Morales, as he was on the receiving end in his match with Lance and Hawaii. Fuck the rail too. William Wyeth, when he bumped into the rail before as he jumped over it and before he went out the door. This kid's here. Put your goddamn pants back on. Stockade to Bo Pritchard after leaving the ring. As mentioned earlier, Ace Pro Wrestling returns with Battle Bowl on Saturday night, April the 14th. As mentioned earlier, the following Battle Bowl teams have been created. Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steel and Mouse, Romeo Castillo and Crowbar, Puerto Rican Powerhouse, Astro Morales, and to be announced, Devil's Outlaw Stockade and Bo Pritchard. And there will also be 4 established tag teams. I'm guessing those teams are the Punk Relics, Golden Shower, Duke Boys, and the GOAT who just debuted. I'm sure Adam Payne, Adira, and Brooklyn Outlaw Mike Donlin will be defending their respective championships. Oh, I forgot to mention the winner of this whole tag teams with Battle Bowl will be crowned the new Ace Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Also, at the risk of sounding rude or disrespectful, I wonder if a lot of the wrestlers showed up late, because when I arrived at 7 o'clock, I could see the wrestlers were still in the ring, and the crowd was not let into the room. The fans were not let into the room until at some point after 7:30. Despite that, the show wrapped up at 10:15, and I believe that was Mike's son Adrian that opened the door before we came in. And Adrian said he hadn't seen me in a while. Adrian, I've been to every Ace show in Bogota so far. I don't know. You probably haven't noticed me. The previous 3 shows before Destined for Greatness. Oh, great seeing Frank Decklet. Who else was it great to see there? Crap. Well, actually, yeah. I guess it's time for an announcement. Regarding Battle Bowl on April 14th, for the first time since Anarchy last summer, Melissa will be joining me for this very show. And, hopefully there will be a bigger crowd for Battle Bowl April 14th. And definitely, can't believe I'm going on 12 years supporting Ace Pro Wrestling now. Mike Morgan, man, this is such a ride, shall we say. And Mike, we definitely got to have a picture together. Maybe next show? So basically, yeah, I had a great time. Glad I went. And can't wait for Battle Bowl on Saturday night, April the 14th.